Catholicism was like the air we breathed. It was just there. My parents were both devout. By the time they retired, they were both going to Mass every day. I went to school in Marquette in Milwaukee. It was 65 degrees below zero one day in Milwaukee. And a friend of mine and I decided we were going to California after graduation.
He's an intellectual, a brilliant, brilliant man, had a great career as an academician. He joined the faculty at the UCLA Graduate School of Business. Then he became an associate dean there, and then he headed up the MBA program. And that's kind of what his life was like up until his wife passed away, and then he came to St. Monica's. I don't know if you'd call it softening up over the years, but he's become an intellectual who's also got a very soft heart.
Pam and I met in high school. She was an early education teacher and wound up teaching at Our Lady of Grace out in Encino while I was working on my PhD. She was diagnosed with cancer. As she got sick, her faith sustained her. My only reaction could have been, okay, if this is getting her through, then I've got to step up my game.
He has a great mind for education, but he has a heart for the Lord. He's spiritually attuned. And so when you get a combination like that, it is an incredible gift and blessing to a community.
He joined the board of directors of St. Monica's, and he became the chair of the board in 2009. And then he joined the board of directors of St. John's Seminary. And then, of course, he works at St. Joseph Center as the chair of the board, where he's been there forever. But it's not just being the head of the organization. What Kevin does is he goes to Bread and Roses Cafe, and he rolls up his sleeves and actually serves the poor, the homeless.
He can be speaking with an affluent potential campaign donor, or he can be speaking with a homeless person who is at the Bread and Roses Cafe having lunch, and he's going to be present to the person who's in front of him in a very loving and warm way.
My wife and I have brought in asylum seekers to live with us, and we had too many asylum seekers for our space at one point. When we said to Kevin, is there any chance that you've got a spot for a young man from Rwanda? And he said, sure. And so he lived at Kevin's for, I don't know, maybe 4 years.
Whatever was asked of him, he never said no. He just always is ready to give that little bit extra that perhaps another person would not be willing to do.
When he retired from UCLA, he was retired for a matter of weeks before he became president of St. Monica Schools.
Monsignor was talking about the diaconate program one day, and Kevin overheard them and said, well, what does it take? And now, after the 4-year program's finished, here he is, a deacon.
The diaconate for Kevin was the culmination of his life of service. He has a heart for the poor. He's a person who has an incredible opportunity in his life because of the blessings that he's received to help people. And he does it. And so it's been a great blessing for him, for sure, and a great blessing for us here at St. Monica.
He's at a stage of his life where he could kick back, he could relax, and just enjoy the fruits of all his labors. But instead, he gives lavishly.
There were times when the organization was, having some financial difficulties. And I was reminded in my own prayer time that our leader is a praying person, that he goes to church every day. I mean, that's a big thing in some cultures. You're like, wow, he goes to church every day. And that meant to me that St. Joseph Center was going to be okay, because I knew he was going to take the needs of our organization to the altar. I can already see the community that we are in change, and it started with him and Christ in him.